All right, now let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Unfortunate Joe Burrow injury kind of derailed the season. I think this team was primed to make a deep playoff push. And I think it's because a lot of the good changes that have been coming around that unit. One of the main reasons behind that is Katie Blackburn. I think she's done a lot of good things. We've heard a lot of good things from the fans about her as well. And she has done something else, in a great announcement, timing wise, but the decision that was made a little while back as well. I think this is really good for the Bengals. Let's get into the article and we can talk about it more on the other side. This is from NBC Sports. It says the Bengals locker room at Paycor Stadium is undergoing a makeover. Geoff Hobson of the team website reports the project, which began after the season ended, includes overhauling ceilings, flooring, restrooms, showers, as well as installing the state-of-the-art lockers. The target completion date is for week 1, and until then, players will use 2 adjoining locker rooms about 50 yards from the main one. Bengals Director of Operations Jeff Brickner and Equipment Manager Adam Nolman, along with representatives of the ownership, researched the latest and best locker room models in both college and NFL. We view it as the players' office where they go to work every day, and we believe this meets their every need now and in the future, Brickner told Hobson. Nick, I think this was a great move by the Bengals. I think the timing is very key, and I want to hear what your thoughts are about this one. But Bengals fans, I want to know in the comments below, since Katie Blackburn has taken over this team, I think we've seen a major change, especially in the spending for this team. I think it's had a positive effect. What do you think you would give her as a grade for her role in everything Bengals related so far, since she's kind of under the radar taken over the reins? Let us know the grade you would give her in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest move and what does it exactly mean?
So when you hear this headline and it first come out, it doesn't really sound like a big deal. But Bengals fans, obviously, you guys are very well aware of the fact that historically the Bengals are one of the lowest spending franchises in the NFL on their fan experience. They're also upgrading that as well, and certainly on the player support structure, like the locker room, practice fields, domes, indoor practice facilities, things like that. They've been one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest franchise in really modern NFL history. Blackburn has changed that, and she's invested a lot of dollars. But that's not the real story here. The timing of this update of this report, that's the real story. We know the scouting combine is coming just a few days away. We know free agency is just a couple weeks away. The Bengals have an incredible amount of cap space, thanks, of course, now that the salary cap has been bumped up to $255 million per team. The Bengals have a lot of dollars to spend. They're going to try and work out a long-term deal with T. Higgins. They're going to franchise tag him, of course, if they can't get something worked out. There's the Jamar Chase situation. They've got a lot of money to spend. One of the things that can help them in terms of attracting talent, of course, is finally demonstrating to the world that, look, the old Bengals that aren't going to spend money on the practice facility, on the locker room, that's 100% done. We're going to be state of the art in Cincinnati. And trust me, that really matters because it gets a good feeling and buy-in from players that want to come to Cincinnati. One of the reasons I feel like the Bengals have struggled to keep some free agents and have struggled to bring in top talent. Remember, the Cincinnati Bengals are really good over the past couple of years because of homegrown talent. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, right? We're talking about guys that were drafted and developed by the Bengals. One of the reasons I think the Bengals have had a hard time bringing in top talent is they'll visit the Falcons, they'll visit free agents, will visit the Falcons, they'll visit the Cowboys, they'll visit the Raiders, the Rams, whatever. And then they'll go to Cincinnati and they'll be like, yeah, this is second rate, right? It's not quite the same. And when you could get that, don't get that feeling from the leadership atop the organization that they're bought into success, even if Cincinnati's really good, you don't want to go there, right? Because it is your office, it is your workplace. As anyone who's worked in corporate America like I do, and I've worked in situations where you go into the office and you're like, the guys running this company, they're so cheap. They don't care about us. They're not trying to build a good culture. They don't invest anything in the company. They're just trying to lower costs just to maybe do a short-term spike in profits. And that really destroys the entire morale. Other companies I work for, exact opposite. They have nice facilities. They have nice offices. They have nice working environments for people, for employees. And you can tell at that point that the leadership really wants to grow the business. That's what we're seeing from Katie Blackburn. The timing of this is a message to the rest of the NFL, to players the Bengals are trying to re-sign, Higgins, Jamar Chase, and a lot of potential free agents, that the old Bengals is over. The new Bengals, we are 100% focused on making sure we give a great working environment for everybody. We're not going to be a D locker room. We're not going to be a D facility. We're going to be A plus state of the art. I think this could have a huge impact for the Bengals come free agency time.
Yeah, and I think it's not just the locker rooms, as you alluded to. They're getting a new field laid down. That's big for the players as well. You look, they're getting new club seating, so high level fans, high level donors have a great place to sit, great, fan experience there. More concession stands upgraded, TVs are all around the stadium. Just major game day enhancements, like you said. I think it's just going to be a better experience for a now winning franchise, a franchise that has been to a Super Bowl, a franchise that deserves to be top notch. And I also think another under the radar reason for all this is you think of where a lot of the players, or especially the high caliber players on the Bengals, have come from. You look at Joe Burrow, you look at Jamar Chase, you think of LSU and what LSU has done and the environment they came from. LSU has the top notch facilities in the country. Their weight room, their locker room, just everything about LSU is absolutely phenomenal. I think that helps them. And I think Katie Blackburn's probably talked to the players now. She's getting their input. And guys like Joe Burrow say, hey, if we want to get more guys, we got to do what LSU did. I went there, I transferred there. That's part of the reason that drew me to an LSU is to, obviously championship caliber football, but high level facilities. So I think taking a vote of confidence from the players and their opinions as well is something that generally in the past the Browns would not have done to Bengals players. They probably didn't give her it, but Katie Blackburn, she really seems to have the ear of everybody in the franchise, whether it's the fans, the players, or people in the front office. And I think that's the major change. And I hope that the free agents see that as well. I'm sure they will, because I think this Bengals team can really start to ramp things up and get even further and finally win that Super Bowl.
And it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you look at the great dynasties in NFL history, the 49ers of the 1980s and 1990s were known for overspending on their players' new facilities. The New England Patriots of the early 2000s, right? Robert Kraft invested an incredible amount of money building a brand new stadium, building brand new facilities. The Dallas Cowboys in the early 1990s, Jerry Jones literally poured an incredible amount of money to revamp the Dallas Cowboys. It really does matter what you put in your facility, what you put in your stadium. It keeps people wanting to stay with the team. It brings in quality free agents. And the fact that the Bengals have the dollars to do it, again, I love the timing of this move. It's a message to every free agent in the NFL. Hey, the Bengals are going to have first-rate facilities. We're going to win as well. You need to come to Cincinnati. Once again, Katie Blackburn, knocks it out of the park.